Now, you are watching Bev Turner on GB News. My panel are back in the room. I'm with founder and editor of Heaver News, Michael Heaver, commentator and broadcaster Emma Webb, and writer and broadcaster Amy Nickell. So we've been talking this morning quite a lot about the NHS. We've been talking about the care home sector. It just seems to be bad news after bad news. A quarter of care workers are likely to leave the industry by the end of the year. Michael, what do we do about it?
Well, I thought about the care sector when we heard recently that NHS nurses were going to go on strike, because I actually looked into it and found that NHS nurses on average, I think, are paid around 34,000, and we're asking for the equivalent of a 17% pay rise. And my argument was, well, look at the comparison pay, for instance, in the care sector, which is actually far lower than that. And I actually think it's one of those industries that's, it's hard work, it's demanding work, and actually is extremely poorly paid when you look how much, carers are costing. I think fundamentally, and I think this differs sector to sector, I don't agree with the nurses strike in the NHS, but fundamentally I do actually think people in care should be paid more than they are.
Yeah, I think so. Emma, it seems full of common sense. You're from the Common Sense Society. It seems commonsensical that we pay people to do these jobs, which are very hard. It's very hard to track people into them.
Yeah, I think often the way that when we talk about this issue, we're thinking about the people who are doing the jobs. But actually, if you value the people who are in those care homes, so our elderly, our grandmothers, our parents, surely we want them to have the best care. And to get the best care, they need to attract the best people to those roles and to make them feel valued so that they can retain the staff, so that they can actually develop a relationship with the people that they care for. Yeah. My grandmother was in a care home until she passed away quite recently. And the care home staff there were phenomenal. They really care passionately about what they're doing. Of course, they should be paid more for that. The issue is, where does that money come from? And I think, again, in terms of the NHS, this goes back to NHS reform. In the private sector, I think that is a much more complicated issue.
Do you think Brexit has affected how many people we have here prepared to do these jobs, Amy?
I think definitely coming out of the single market, and Brexit has obviously affected who can work here and in the care sector. But I think actually the job just needs to be more attractive financially, which is what we all agree on, actually, I think, for a change. I think the difference between care home workers and nurses is that they don't have to pay 60 grand for a degree to work in the industry. So that could explain a slight discrepancy between the wages. But the job would appeal to so many more people if it was better paid. But wages need to rise across the board at the moment. Wages do need to rise in line with inflation so that people can afford to put back into the economy.
Is that right, Michael?
Yeah, no, absolutely. I want wages to go up. What I would say as well, though, when people actually look, and I've had sort of some personal family experience of this, paying for care homes is not cheap. There's a lot of money. They're very, very expensive. And I've always thought,
private care homes are very profitable as well.
Yeah, so how can people working for them being paid peanuts or, very little, when the cost, these, as I said, people that have got experience of this, they cost an absolute fortune per week. So where is that money going?
It's just a business, isn't it? It's ultimately a money-making business. So maybe that's part of the problem.
And also care is just very, very expensive to have full-time, round-the-clock care for those people. So it's more than just paying the staff.